Make Old Friends by Incidental Pegasus number 5. Chapter 3. Poor Provincial Town. London's City Apple Acres had been, unsurprisingly, heavily apple-based. Fluttershy enjoyed the apple salad and apple fritters he was offered, but what she enjoyed more was the company. Even though she just met Big Macintosh Granny Smith, they treated her as she'd been a friend of the family for years. The conversations at this point had been largely dominated by Apple Bloom, although that was as much as default by anything. Fluttershy's soft voice was difficult for Granny Smith to hear, made her feel very self-conscious and hesitant to speak. As for Big Macintosh, he was clearly a stallion in a few words, although, fortunately, not too few to hold a conversation. Appleseed wanted to know more about her, so she told him about the Ponyville weather team.
Then I reckon you're the one we have to thank for the rain we need for our crops.
Fluttershy blushed.
Oh no, it's not just me. The team is full of talented, hard-working ponies. I'm just one pony. I'd never be able to do it on my own.
Her embarrassment was interrupted by the warm tongue on her muzzle. A brown and white collie had emerged, seemingly out of nowhere. It was happy licking Fluttershy's face.
Winona, damn!
I'm real sorry about this, Miss Fluttershy.
Winona was now laying on her back, allowing Fluttershy to rub her belly.
Oh, it's all right. Really. She's just saying hello. Isn't that right, Winona? Oh, how's it, girl?
Fluttershy felt a connection with Winona, she rarely did with ponies. The canine's instant acceptance was comforting, and there was no awkward introductions here, nothing to be intimidated by. The interruption also gave Fluttershy an excellent chance to change the subject.
Anyway, the reason I came here was to see your sister, Applejack. I got this problem, and I think she's one of the ponies I need to get in touch with. Applebloom said you know where to find her.
Big Macintosh considered this for a moment.
Yep. Well, if you're in trouble, we'd be happy to lend a hand to a friend of the Apple family.
Applebloom and Granny Smith gave their enthusiastic agreement.
Don't want to be a bother. You barely know me.
He looked at his sister.
That may be, but I know enough.
That's very kind of you. But to be honest, I'm not sure there's anything else you could do. I really need to find certain specific ponies. There are sales pony, Pinkamena. That was here before was one of them. Your sister might be another.
She described probably Applejack the stallion. Big Macintosh agreed that the mare did sound like his sister. He retrieved an envelope from the counter and gave it to her. It had been torn open and its contents removed. The writing on it was undamaged. In the upper left corner was a return address located in Manhattan.
That's where we send letters to. You might be able to find her there.
First, I wasn't relishing the idea of going to Manhattan. It was a lot bigger than Ponyville, and bigger even than Cloudsdale. The largest cities in all Equestria, second only to Camelot from itself. From what she had heard, full of crowds of ponies rushing in every direction, and fairy tale buildings all over the place. There were a few places she wanted to visit less. Most of those were full of dragons or griffins. Based on what Applebloom had said earlier, though, Applejack hadn't been coming back to visit. That Fluttershy would have the good fortune for that to suddenly change seemed unlikely. So, she was going to have to find a way to face her fear. This was too important to let go. She thought of Rainbow Dash and Pinkamena. Neither one of them seemed much like Fluttershy's memory suggested. She should take the opportunity to find out more about Applejack from the ponies that knew her.
I was just wondering, if it isn't too much trouble, that is. Could you tell me about Applejack? But only if you want to. If it's too personal, I understand.
It was Granny Smith who replied.
It's fine, dear. Let's see. It was about 10 years ago, or I think, or maybe more than that, 12. That's not really the important part. Anyways, some time ago, my niece and her husband came from Manhattan to visit. While they were here, they told the folks, Applejack and Big Macintosh still being youngins at the time, all sorts of stories about the big fancy life in the fancy city. And well, Applejack was so taken in by the idea of being a big fancy sea pony. Now, way clear, the tale says she wants to go live there herself. Get right to say, I blame her, though. To be honest, to hear them tell it, I was hesitant to go pay a visit myself. Ain't much to say after that, really. She writes to us, we write to her.
After a moment she had,
Sir, do you miss having her around the phone, though?
Big Macintosh added a solemn
Yep.
of his own. Applebloom just sat there crestfallen.
But don't think badly of her. She's still an apple. She wasn't on the farm in no way. Thanks to the money she saves, we never have to worry about Sweet Apple Acres being in trouble. Thank you so much for inviting me to lunch and everything you told me. If I'm going to go to Manhattan, though, I have a lot I need to do.
To Apple Bloom, she said,
I don't know how long this will take, but I will be back to help you like I promised. I won't forget.
As she was leaving, she remembered something Cloud Kicker had said. It's not like I know every pony in Ponyville. Who saw it? She described the two unicorns and asked the apples if they knew anything about them, but they had no better idea than Cloud Kicker did. Upon leaving the farmhouse, Fluttershy retraced her steps to make her way back to the heart of Ponyville. Knocking at the door of the library, she was pleased to discover Cheerilee was there.
Hello again, Fluttershy.
Were you able to find the farm all right?
Yes, thank you. But now I have to go to Manhattan. I was hoping there was a map of the city I could borrow, if you're not too busy.
A suitable map found, Fluttershy thanked Cheerilee and left. She was ready to head back to Cloudsdale when she spotted Applebloom talking to a pair of fillies. She wandered over to him and noticed that the two strangers, like Pink Filly, who, for some reason, was wearing a tiara, was actually doing most of the talking, and Applebloom didn't seem wanted to be out there at all. She thought she heard the pink one say something about her companion, a glasses-wearing gray Filly, about blank flanks, that made them both laugh. First, I decided it would probably be a good idea to step in.
Hello, Applebloom. Is everything okay?
Filly brightened.
Hi, Fluttershy. We were just talking with Applebloom about cutie marks.
The tiara-wearing pony interrupted, turning slightly to show off a matching tiara decorating her side. And rather loud, obviously fake attempt at muttering under her breath again.
And lack of cutie marks.
Before any pony could say anything, she continued.
So glad we had the chance to chat, but we really have to go. Going, Silver Spoon?
She walked away with a smirk. After a moment, the other filly followed. Evelyn sighed.
I don't really want to talk about that, Tiara. I understand.
For the nervous way Applebloom was shoveling her hose, Fluttershy guessed that there was something she did want to talk about. Decided to give the fillies as much time as she needed. After what felt like minutes, Applebloom finally spoke.
Fluttershy, you said you were going to Manhattan, right? See my sister?
Fluttershy nodded.
Good, 'cause you asked her to come home. I didn't want to say anything from my family.
Fluttershy found herself momentarily at a loss for words. Applebloom looked even sadder now than when she was worried about her cutie mark. And with good reason. Fluttershy wouldn't agree to do that. She didn't need to know anything about Applejack, to know that Sea Pony wasn't going to leave her home over a decade because some pony she never met asked her nicely. It would be fair to try.
Well, I could tell her you'd like to see her and ask her to visit Ponyville. Is that all right?
Applebloom reluctantly agreed. Fluttershy tried to think of something that might cheer her new friend, when a brightly colored building caught her eye. It looked like a life-size gingerbread house, with a sign out front blazing with a giant cupcake.
Applebloom, would you like a cupcake? My treat.
Luckily, the line inside the bakery moved quickly. The two ponies were soon at the counter, being waited on by a matronly blue earth pony.
Howdy, Mr. Clank. Hello, Applebloom. And hello to your friend as well.
She addressed Fluttershy.
Look at this chicken cute corner. Is this your first visit to Ponyville? This is Fluttershy. She's gonna help me get my cutie mark. So kind of you. So what can I do for you two today?
Fluttershy looked over at the baked goods on display. Sugar Cube Corner had some very fancy cakes on display. There was even a large one in the shape of an 8-pointed star that was the symbol of the Sun Princess herself. They looked all so tasty, but she was still full from lunch and settled for a simple banana nut muffin. Applebloom chose a cupcake with green frosting, topped by a slice of apple. After breaking out the sale, Mrs. Cake turned towards the kids and said,
Give me some more cupcakes up front, dear. We're almost run out.
Coming! The voiceover sounded frantically sang. Tray cupcakes floated to her doorway, bathed in a field of blue magic. Molly certainly was a white unicorn. Her shoulder-length violet mane was pulled back in a ponytail. She was wearing a black apron tied around her waist and a matching skirt on her hindquarters.
Here you go.
The two ponies bolted out of the dressing room, leaving a very confused photographer in her wake. Walking down the hallway, it was the unicorn that spoke first.
Fluttershy, allow me again to tell you how sorry I am for this whole mess. It's all right, Rarity.
The Pegasus replied.
It's just my fault as yours. I could have said something.
Let's not disentence the fact that I shouldn't have pushed you into it at all. It's good you didn't want to, but I was only thinking of my career. Rarity hung her head in shame.
And to think, you were miserable all this time.
She was only brought out of her funk by the touch of a yellow hoof on her shoulder. She was brought out of her funk by a touch of a yellow hoof on her shoulder.
Well, it was just a favor to you. It wasn't so bad. But I only wanted to help you shine over Equestria. I never wanted that attention myself.
Fluttershy trailed off, lost in thought. I don't know as he came to a conclusion.
Rarity, those streets tomorrow full of Fizz mentioned. Laura told her I only work out together. She must have seen how the crowd loved you.
Rarity hesitated.
That's very kind of you, Fluttershy, but I could never enjoy it, knowing how it's making you feel.
It won't be very long. Once you become popular, you'll have lots of ponies following your class. No pony would even notice I quit.
Rarity didn't say anything for a long time. She looked away from Fluttershy and nervously bit down her foreleg as her body trembled. Eventually she burst out,
No, I couldn't.
She composed herself. She said to Fluttershy,
I know it's not all useful day, but let me take you to the spa. Oh, we should invite Twilight too. The poor girl must be stressing from keeping both our secrets.
Sarah had Rarity, most of Bucket's friend's name, and her voice for calling out the room echoing from the where they left.
Spike has a crush on Rarity!
The two friends looked at each other.
Oh dear, were we not supposed to know about that?
Fluttershy came to this time. 3 sets of eyes gazed at her, curious.
Fluttershy, are you alright?
Asked Applebloom. Fluttershy assured her she was, but spared the possibility of further questions when the high-pitched screams came from a solid glowing box sitting on itself. A second set of screams coming in.
Sounds like the twins set up. Rarity, would you mind? Oh, I'll say so until Mr. Cake gets back.
The whispers from the unicorn.
Rarity, for like you can. I'd be happy to.
As Mrs. Cake went upstairs, Fluttershy found herself with the perfect opportunity to talk to Rarity. How should she do this? Thinking back to her previous attempts, the direct approach was clearly not the way to go. Something more nuanced would have had a better shot at getting her somewhere. At the very least, with a star to look after. She didn't have to worry about Rarity walking off on her further in the kitchen. Now she just decided how to start. She sighed inwardly. This is always so much easier when the other pony was doing it. Fortunately, Rarity saw the difficulty for her.
I don't believe we've met before. Rarity.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Rarity. I'm Fluttershy.
It's a pleasure's all mine, dear. We don't see new faces here on Pony if you're nearly enough. Oh, where were you from, if you don't mind my asking?
Cloudsdale, but I work for the Ponyville weather team. I just don't spend much time down here.
You don't need to be so mass, Fluttershy. Evelyn piped up. She said to Rarity, she's in charge of the waiter time.
Fluttershy, disappointing her slip up at once, clearly not gone unnoticed, reluctantly confirmed that she was. She silently thanked Rarity for choosing to focus on something else entirely.
You're from Cloudsdale. I must admit, I'm rather jealous. Is this feeling as sophisticated as they say? I mean, obviously, I've never been, but someday I'd like to have my own little pastry shop someplace in Marseilles, or Venezuela, or even Canterlot.
As Rarity spoke, her voice increasingly breathless, and her gaze became fixed on a far-off point in the distance. By the end, she was clearly only talking to herself.
One day, Rarity, one day.
Fluttershy pretended to listen as politely as she would, or swallowed her frustration. Yet their conversation was getting out of huff. While this one didn't feature an unbelievably long list of rocks, she wasn't getting any closer to solving her problem. Even if Rarity had any of the answers she was looking for, it didn't look like she was going to volunteer them. Fluttershy would have to act. She had tried asking Rainbow Dash if she had strange feelings if anything was wrong. That only made her angry. She tried peeking Mia if they remembered them being friends. It didn't work either. It was just going about this the wrong way. She refrained from explaining the details of her situation to Applebloom, or her family, because she knew it would make her sound crazy. If she had been on the other end of the conversation, where somebody else was asking her questions like that, she might not want to admit anything either. If Rarity was really having a similar experience, but didn't want to talk about it, perhaps she should say something to signal to Rarity, that she wasn't alone. The considerable differences between other Fluttershy's Rarity and the Rare standing before her would simplify this, at least.
Rarity, I was wondering something.
The unicorn beggar jolted out of her daydream.
Yes. It's just that, well, I heard at some point there was a designer in Ponyville that made beautiful dresses. A designer named Rarity. Is this true?
Fluttershy was unable to read Rarity's expression.
I think I'd like to have a word with this Pony,
she began before catching herself.
Well, my manners.
I'm sorry. It's not like you would have known. You see, when I was a filly, I didn't dream of becoming a fashion designer. When that dream died a long time ago, the work I did wasn't bad, really. It was merely commonplace. That's the kind of thing don't get one noticed. Eventually, I came to terms with my mediocrity,
There's also something I'd like to discuss. I'm just grateful that Mr. and Mrs. Cake were looking for... She stopped. She was staring at a tray of cupcakes, brought out, and muttered to herself,
Oh no, no, this will not do us all.
What's wrong? asked Fluttershy. This! A single cupcake lifted up, caught on a tray and blew on her.
I simply could not embarrass my employers for displaying such an inferior product in their store.
Fluttershy wondered what she meant, since the offending dessert didn't look any different than the others to her. She did not have long to discover the baked goods' secret flaw. As soon as it was eaten by Rarity, as quickly as dignity would allow. Once the cupcake was gone, Rarity turned her attention back to the customer.
My apologies, Fluttershy. One benefit of this medium is how easy it is to dispose of one's mistakes. Anyway, I do hope a cosmetologist as yourself will visit Ponyville more often. This town is a little more professional than I prefer. What? It's true.
The last bit was not directed at Fluttershy, but the space over her shoulder. She turned and saw that, at some point, a cream-colored earth pony with a dark blue and pink mane, taking up a spot behind her. The new pony was glaring daggers at Rarity.
Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that somebody was waiting. I'll just get out of your way now.
Buzzing heavily, Fluttershy gathered her purchases and ushered Apple Bloom out of the shot. Rarity shouting a farewell at her. After making sure Apple Bloom cheered up some, Fluttershy said her goodbyes to the filly and headed back up to Cloudsdale. Even though she knew this was definitely necessary flying, unless she intended to start looking for hotels. She felt a twinge of guilt due to her promise to Cloud Kicker. Her departure from Secret Cube Corner in Verity hadn't been all she had planned. But she had to admit it didn't look like she was getting anywhere with the unicorn anyway. If Verity was experiencing something similar, she hadn't been interested in sharing that with Fluttershy. To meet Pegasus reflected on her progress so far, or to be more accurate, her lack of progress. She already met with 3 of the 5 ponies she was looking for. While other Fluttershy's memories were clearer than they were that morning, she was no closer to understanding where they had come from, or why no pony else was experiencing them. She had hoped Manhattan would have some answers, and that she could find some pony who could tell her about the other unicorns she knew nothing about. She soon arrived at Cloud Kicker's house, where the weather pony was about to sit down to dinner with her sister Lula. After being assured 3 times she wouldn't be imposing, Fluttershy agreed to join them. The simple meal where familiar ponies helped her mare to relax for the first time since this morning. As she listened to Lula tell her sister about what she and her friends had been up to that afternoon, she was, for a moment, able to forget all the crazy stuff that had happened to her that day. Once dinner was over, Cloud Kicker asked her sister for some privacy. Fluttershy recounted everything that had happened to her at Ponyville. When she finished, Cloud Kicker asked,
So, you need to come to Manhattan next? I think so. I'd rather not, but it's really all I have to go on now.
When do we leave?
But I didn't mean... I was just going to go myself, not that I don't want you there.
Fluttershy hastily clarified.
But it would be selfish of me to ask you to drop everything you're doing to help.
Cloud Kicker looked Fluttershy squarely in the eyes. Fluttershy, you're my best friend. There's something going on with you, of course I'm going to help. You don't need to ask me, I'm offering.
But you must have things to do yourself. Didn't you tell your parents you'd watch your sister? Wouldn't feel right if you broke your plans with your family.
Lula's only staying here tonight and tomorrow anyway. We can make preparations tomorrow and leave the day after. And don't worry about weather duty. I'll ask Blossom if she could cover for me. She owes me a few, it wouldn't be a problem.
Well, you sure you don't mind?
Unsure. Fluttershy beamed.
Then I'm glad you to come with me.
Great. I'll ask Blossom for it right now. Would you mind keeping my sister company? Greeting, Fluttershy made her way to Cloud Kicker's living room, where her sister had been keeping herself busy with the latest Daring Do novel. Lula closed the book when she saw Fluttershy enter.
Fluttershy? If I tell you something, would you promise not to tell my sister? It's something bad, I promise.
Fluttershy promised, and sat down as Lula confessed to having one of her crush-on classmates, a Pegasus colt named Rumble. Listening to the filly eagerly tell her everything about her schoolyard romance, Fluttershy gratefully enjoyed the respite from the issues weighing on her mind. Chapter 4. Apples and Oranges. It was still early in the morning when the 2 Pegasi arrived at the train station. The previous day had, unfortunately, passed without incident. Fluttershy had not experienced any more bursts of memories from Mother Fluttershy since her meeting with Rarity the day before. Despite Cloud Kicker's suggestions, Fluttershy insisted on fulfilling her weather team duties as usual. Just take the day off, she had said. I can take care of everything. Besides, you're the master anyway. It's not like there's any pony who could tell you you can't. Fluttershy wouldn't hear of it, though.
I'm already taking time off to go to Manhattan. I shouldn't take advantage of being in charge just because I can.
Unable to convince her that working was a very real risk of blacking out again, falling to the ground did not count as taking advantage, Clockkicker insisted on accompanying Fluttershy herself. At least Fleur didn't have once convincing to switch assignments. Soon the train to Manhattan arrived at Camelot. First I looked at it with dread. It was already so crowded, it would probably get worse as the train kept making stops. If this was what the train was like, how crowded would the city itself be? Eventually, they found a pair of open seats, and it wasn't long before the train began to move.
Clockkicker,
Yes?
thank you for coming with me.
Cloudkicker placed a forelegs to Fluttershy's shoulder and drew her into a hug.
Of course.
Hours passed, with nothing to do but stare out the window of scenery. Fields and hills stretched out for miles, broken only by the occasional cities and towns that the train stopped at. At some point, Clockkicker had dozed off, and was snoring lightly next to Fluttershy. This left the side Pegasus with plenty of time to think. The ponies she was searching for, were they the easiest way for her to try to understand what was going on? Or was there something more? Fluttershy had thought she was unique in being a full-grown pony without a cutie mark. But Pygmalion didn't have one either. That seemed too unlikely to be a coincidence. Applebloom had said he didn't think Applejack had hers, but given the village's rather intense fixation on cutie marks, it's hard to say how accurate this was. At any rate, she had to find out on her own soon enough. With Rarity, there was no way to tell, since he kept her flight cover. As for Rainbow Dash, first I realized he couldn't remember if Rainbow Dash had a cutie mark or not. She hadn't thought to check at the time. It was more than just the absence of cutie marks, though. She was starting to feel that she was connected to these 5 ponies in a deeper way. She had seen a lot of ponies these past couple of days, many more than she normally would. There were dozens on the train alone. Out of all of them, these ponies were the only ones that brought the strange memories to the surface. Her best friend hadn't, she thought, gazing sadly at the Pegasus sleeping by her side. She knew it was silly, but she couldn't help but feeling that she was being disloyal to Cloudkicker somehow. You know the sad part of all this? Is that right now, this is starting to be a better idea than the cutie remark. No, really. I think the writers should have taken advice from this episode.
This place is enormous.
Fluttershy thought to herself as she looked at the station before her. The train station in Ponyville was just a platform with a small ticket booth. She and Clockkicker had been the only ones there. Manhattan Station, on the other hand, was a gigantic building full of ponies, rushing in and around all directions, possibly even enough to fill a decent-sized town. She'd never seen anything like it, even at the airship docks at Cloudsdale. There, the passengers had exclusively been members of the Pegasus elite, so the area wasn't very crowded despite its size. Here, however, ponies wearing top hats and strings of pearls made their way through the crowd past harried-looking ponies in messengers' outfits. At a nearby newsstand, a stallion in an expensive business suit and a younger mare wearing saddlebags were emblazoned with the logo of the University of Manhattan, and overflowing with books, waiting as a pony in a floral print shirt and a camera slung around his neck, asked the clerk for directions to the Statue of Friendship.
Oh, Manhattan, what you do to me?
Beyond the crowds was the building itself. The walls were covered, in some places, with boards indicating arriving of departing trains, but many others with advertisements. There were ads publicizing the opening of at least 4 new plays in the theater district, including a production of famed playwright Buster Quill's Platinum Fourth, Part 1. Notices announcing an upcoming Pony exhibit in the Manhattan Museum of Art were plastered up to the others, declaring that Manhattan Meadowlark season tickets were now available. A particularly large poster caught Fluttershy's attention. It was announcing events at the city's convention center. The left side was dominated by an illustration of a grinning light blue mare with a star-covered hat and cape. She was reared up on her legs, and her forelegs spread out in triumph, surrounded by fireworks. The bomb promised, "The most spectacular feats of magic ever witnessed by pony eyes!" and listed the week's dates. On the right side was some kind of creature Fluttershy had never seen before. He was a muscular, bipedal, bull-like creature, and was smiling and making an enthusiastic gesture. Apparently he was holding some kind of service seminars next week. Although she was more than a little intimidated by this iron will, she had to admit the idea sounded intriguing. She would regret as he wasn't planning on remaining in the city that long, and she hadn't come here for pleasure anyway. She needed to meet with Applejack and get back home as soon as possible. She wasn't going to give the ponies whispering that she wasn't qualified for her job, something else to whisper about. First, I was so engrossed in taking everything in, she didn't realize that she had wandered in the middle of a pathway. Gray Stallion nearly bumped into her.
Well, excuse me.
He sounded in a gruff, sarcastic manner.
Oh my, I didn't mean to stand in anybody's way. I'm sorry.
She said back to Stallion, who hadn't stopped. She looked around and saw ponies milling about, muttering apologies. She quickly backed up, but found herself knocked to the floor.
Hey, what's the way you're going?
Fluttershy nervously got to her hooves. She held the pony she had bumped to and wouldn't be too angry with her. She sounded really angry. She turned around and realized that the pony wasn't a pony at all. It was a griffin. Griffin was ignoring her for a moment, but only because he was too busy glaring at Cloud Kicker, who was glaring back at her. The pegasus was the first to break the silence. "You've got a problem?" she asked, her voice calm, but with an undercurrent of hostility. The griffin was supposed to be intimidating, and she didn't show it.
Yeah, I do have a problem. It's bad enough I got dragged out of here when I had to put up with all you lame ponies. Now I can't even walk without some dweeb pumping into me.
Before Cloud Kicker could respond, First I spoke up.
Sorry, Cloud Kicker. I should.
A loud cackle startled both Pegasus.
You ponies kill me with those knees of yours. Cloud Kicker? Yeah, I bet those white fluffy clouds are real tough. If you'd like to see what else I could kick, I'd be happy to show you.
Fluttershy turned an even paler shade of yellow at her friend's words. Why was Cloud Kicker trying to pick a fight? Griffin was larger than a pony and angrier. She heard that they ate meat. Cloud Kicker got seriously hurt, or worse. Griffin stood on her hind legs and flared her wings, towering over two ponies.
Is that so? At least one of you ponies are interesting.
Her mouth curled into a cruel smirk, as her beak would allow, as she brandished her talons.
Let me see if you can back it up.
Her attention was drawn away. Faintly, over the murmurs of the passing crowds, two ponies heard a voice with an unfamiliar accent calling for some pony named Gilda.
Looks like it's your lucky day, Cloud Kicker.
The griffin headed towards the caller. It turned out to be another griffin standing by a pile of boxes. He had a gray coat, a long handlebar mustache, and wore a red bandana around his neck.
Things I do for family.
After Gilda had left, Fluttershy was the first to speak.
You didn't have to do that for me.
Cloud Kicker scoffed.
You mean let that jerk himself push you around? Couldn't do that.
But you could have gotten hurt.
We work next to a creepy fool, so it's full of tell-staring around there. Why should I be scared of one griffin?
Fluttershy couldn't understand how Cloud Kicker could be so calm.
Well, 'cause he could have beat you.
Probably, well, yeah. But I don't think she wanted to fight. Besides, she wouldn't have got a chance. Look where we are,
she said, gesturing to the Cloud. Even now, ponies that stopped to watch still had not gone their way.
Any fight would have been broken up long before she had time to get the upper hoof. Upper talon, whatever. The important thing is, she focused on me and left you alone.
In a way, something the Cloud Kicker was willing to brave angry griffins for her. What also served to make the guilt Fluttershy had been feeling return.
I really appreciate it. But please, don't put yourself in danger again. Just for me.
So, this Applejack we're looking for.
Cloud Kicker asked, what's he like?
I don't really know much about her. Just that she left her family's farm to live with her friend's aunt and uncle.
Fluttershy recounted what Granny Smith had told her. The two ponies had been making their way through the busy Manhattan streets, and nearly arrived at Cheerilee's map indicated where their destination would be. Even with the map to keep them from getting lost, it had taken them a long time to get there from the train station. Manhattan was a very large city, even without all the crowds all over the place. Fluttershy was intimidated by seeing blocks and blocks packed with ponies. More than once she had to fight the urge to run and hide somewhere, until every pony went away. Due to the crowds, walking took significantly longer than flying would have. Fluttershy was in no trust to draw so much attention to herself, when it was largely an Earth Pony city. Not just an Earth Pony city, the Earth Pony city. She couldn't believe she was in the heart of Manhattan. It was too much to take in. Occasionally she would forget about the crowds and just stare in awe at the buildings. There were so many of them, and they were so tall. They could have been built out of clouds by ponies that could fly. Fortunately, despite all the complications, there were no further incidents like the ones with Gilda. They had finally reached the address Big Macintosh had given to Fluttershy. It was a tall brick building covered with intricate light gray stonework carvings, dominated by leaves and branches, perhaps inspired by Celestia Park across the street, a haven of nature in a city that seemed to want little to do with it. Now all Fluttershy had to do was find which apartment was Applejack's, and there had to have been some kind of mistake. Fluttershy ran over the building director a second time, then a third. The name Applejack wasn't there. After asking Cloudkicker to confirm what she had saw, she knew the building had a door pony, a tan mare wearing a red shirt with a blue trim, and shiny golden buttons and a fancy hat to max.
Excuse me. I was wondering if you could help me. You're not too busy. I'm looking for a pony named Applejack. I was told she lived here, but can't find her name. I was hoping you could tell me, if you want to.
I'm sorry, but there's no pony with that name here.
Oh, I see. I must have read the map wrong. Didn't mean to oppose. But you gave me directions to here.
She removed Big Macintos's apple envelope and confirmed her saddlebag and showed it to the door pony.
I really appreciate it.
The other mare looked over the envelope before returning it.
That's right here, but as I said before, there's no Applejack living here. I'm sorry you could be much more help. Is there any place you'd like directions to?
No, thank you. I'm sorry I took up most of your time for nothing.
Fluttershy turned and began walking back the way she came, Cloudkicker soon following. Later, Pegasus broke the silence. What now?
I didn't come all this way here to go back into Huff, and I don't want to go back to Sleep Lakers just to come back here.
I know what you mean. That train ride only felt like it lasted a week, right?
But here, there's only one thing I could think I could do.
She sighed deeply. Her entire body seemed to slump.
But I really don't want to. Hello, Dad. How are you and Mom? I'm sorry you haven't visited anymore. I've just been so busy with work. There's something I was hoping you could help me with. I need to go to a Comedy Society event in Manhattan, and the sooner the better. If there's anything you could do to make that happen, I would be very grateful. With love, Fluttershy.
Fluttershy explained her plan to Cloudkicker as he looked for the local prints of the Expressionist Prince. Is he going to wonder why, though?
Maybe, but he spent years trying to get me interested in being a part of these things. So I'm hoping you'll be too happy to ask the obvious questions.
She sighed.
That's actually why I didn't go to him for help. It's like he doesn't care about my happiness. I just want the chance to fly with my own two wings. If I told him everything, he'd never stop treating me like Daddy's little filly.
You sure it'd be really that bad?
We just traveled halfway across Equestria, so I can meet some pony I've never seen memories of, things that never happened. Right now, the best plan I could think of is go to a fancy party. And she's there too. Explaining that to my father doesn't seem like a good way to convince him I can handle things on my own.
Cloudkicker admitted he had a good point. Couldn't you tell me you just wanted to meet some pony? Fluttershy's cheeks turned bright pink and spread for her face.
I think you might get the wrong idea.
That you wanted to meet a specific pony? A mare? Somehow Fluttershy's face grew even pinker, and the flush seemed to spread to her neck.
I think you still might get the wrong idea.
Feeling bad at accidentally causing her friends embarrassment, Cloudkicker decided to change the subject. So, we might be here longer than tonight we thought, huh? Fluttershy, who managed to compose by her point, not agreed. Better let Blossomforth know. She's gonna be mad. Fluttershy couldn't help but smile.
I thought you said before you didn't get scared.
Yes, it's Jerk Griffin, Cloudkicker responded kind. But you've clearly never seen Blossomforth angry. Fluttershy was in luck. They sent off the letter, as well as an apology to Blossomforth, via the fastest, most expensive type of delivery Equestrian Express offered. A reply came the following morning. There was the opening of a prestigious new art gallery, being the next day. Giltwing had managed to get his daughter's name added to the guest list. As hoped, Slayer didn't ask her about her oddly specific request. Although pleasure evident in his words, let Fluttershy know she was going to have to deal with this the next time she saw him. In order to prepare, Fluttershy had brought a dress from a nearby boutique, something appropriate to the occasion, but at the same time, simple and understated. Cloudkicker came across the chauffeur's hat here, and suggested Fluttershy had impressed everybody by arriving at a Pegasus-drawn carriage. But Fluttershy didn't want to wake herself into the center of attention. She just wanted to go, find Applejack, talk to her, and leave. Inside the gallery was a sight all too familiar. Although this was her first visit to Manhattan, the only thing separating this event from the dozens of she had been dragged to by her parents growing up was the general lack of wings. While some parties were looking at the artwork, many were simply looking at each other. A few of the less artful socialites tried unsuccessfully to pretend they didn't like to be seen. Amongst the seeing ponies were paying attention to paintings or the string portraits of the gallery attired to provide ambience. Most remained quiet. Occasionally, some pony were apparently brave enough to express their opinion of the piece, which would soon be greeted by enthusiastic agreement of their neighbors. Even the largest crowd, the one in the persistence of harmony, The famous work by the surrealist mentally clock, generously on loan for the carrot lot to celebrate the gallery's opening, seemed to follow this pattern. Some Fluttershy couldn't see near the front of the group, said something she couldn't quite make out. But whatever it was, the rest of the group was happily nodding in response. Despite all she had been through, Fluttershy nodded thankfully to Celestia. She had experienced the memories of some other Fluttershy. At least it wasn't Fluttershy that followed in her parents' footsteps like she wanted. She could all too easily see herself becoming just another one of these ponies. Frighten her.
All they care about is wearing their fancy clothes and going to their fancy parties. The agreeing of any pony more important than them. What kind of life is that? It seems so pointless.
She wanted to run, to fly, to escape from that place however she could. She still needed to find Applejack, but surely there was another way to do that. She didn't know what it was yet, but she had to come up with it eventually. She had to get this dress off, find Cloudkicker, and together come up with something. The quickest way out past her senses of harmony. She was such in a rush she almost didn't see the other pony walking until it was too late. She turned to apologize, and a pair of bright green eyes returned her gaze. Fluttershy regained consciousness to the feeling of being dragged on her back. The dirt and pebbles scraped against her withers, irritating and causing her to cry out. Dragon, stop.
Welcome back, Sugar Kid. How you feeling?
Applejack held Fluttershy to her hooves, rustling the dirt and dust on the pegasus' back with her own tail. Fluttershy wondered what the two of them were doing on this lonely path, till she saw the torrent of thick black smoke that stretched across the sky.
Oh, that's right. The dragon.
For a moment she allowed herself to believe that had been a nightmare. Fluttershy, you all right?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry, Applejack. I didn't mean to worry you. I'm fine.
Applejack smiled. Don't you worry none about that. It's good to have you back. She began trying down the path. We need to get a move on, though. Don't want to keep the girls waiting. Tentatively, Fluttershy followed behind.
I tell you, Applejack, I think it might be best for every pony if I just didn't go.
By the time she had finished, her voice had been barely above a whisper. Her pony stopped short. The princess is counting us. Heck, all the Questers counting us. Why don't you want to go? She looked at her friends in the eye. Something wrong?
Well, I think...
Fluttershy dug at the ground with her hoof, trying to find the words. She had been afraid to say something in front of every pony at once. But maybe with only Applejack there, it would be okay.
I don't want to be a burden.
She blurted out.
I'm not strong like you or Rainbow Dash, or powerful like Twilight, or charismatic like Rarity and Pinkie. I'm certainly not brave like you girls. I'm a coward, and I'll just get in the way.
Applejack was silent for a while before she spoke. Was that what's bugging you? So, Fluttershy, you ain't no coward. She pressed on Ring Frank's chat. Remember that day we all met Twilight? You only knew her for a few hours. You still followed her to every free forest to stop a mad alicorn. Don't reckon that a coward could have done that. She looked Fluttershy square in the eyes and spoke clearly and deliberately. You know how I don't like to lie, right? So believe me when I tell you that I know you have courage in you, even if you don't see it right now. Fluttershy thought about what Applejack had said. Maybe a deafening roar sounded from the mountain above, causing the ground to shake. Fluttershy saw the ground fall away as she slid back into unconsciousness. The green eyes continued to look at Fluttershy, but now it was with concern. An orange hoof waved in front of her face.
Excuse me, but are you feeling alright?
The voice was calm and elegant, a fitting companion to its owner. The pony before Fluttershy wore her blonde mane up with a small but stylish tiara that complemented nicely to the string of pearls around her neck. A slim black dress hugged her body down to its flanks. From this angle, Fluttershy couldn't get a look at her cutie mark.
Oh, yes, thank you. I'm sorry I nearly bumped into you.
No. Some of these sawaris could get so crowded, it's bound to happen occasionally sometimes. Besides, those are my files, yours.
3 times Fluttershy had met with a pony from other Fluttershy's memories. 3 times she had failed to get the type of information she needed. This time, she simply decided to introduce herself and press forward with a plan.
Nice to meet you.
She said to the hoof.
I'm...
Fluttershy, I know who you are.
She responded, accepting the hoof in kind. Fluttershy's heart leapt.
You do?
Applejack knew her? She remembered not to plan more often.
Course, your daughter, Guiltwing and Clear Skies, Cloudsdale, I must say, it's a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Oh,
Is that all that was?
I see.
Not wanting Applejack to question her reaction, she quickly continued.
I'm just surprised some ponies heard of me outside Cloudsdale. Well, Ponyville too, I guess. I'm on the weather team there.
In the midst of Ponyville, Fluttershy could swear she saw Applejack flinch slightly. If anything was bothering Cecily, however, she didn't let it show.
Perhaps he simply haven't been around the right powers. At any rate, it was rude of me not to introduce myself. My name is...
As I've heard of you, you're Applejack, so you have Lakers.
The flinch was definitely noticeable this time.
That is the name I was given, yes. However, it's never really felt like who I am.
She composed herself a smile.
Please, Fluttershy, call me Valencia.
Okay, Valencia.
An awkward silence fell over the two. Eager to break it, Fluttershy said,
I like your family, by the way. They're really nice.
Like you.
They're not Applejack looked uncomfortable.
Rather not talk about my family, though. You wouldn't mind.
Of course.
Fluttershy agreed. Where she quickly remembered her last conversation with Apple and gasped.
Valencia? I know you didn't want to talk about your family, but, I promised your sister I said she wants to meet you and for you to visit them. I'm so sorry. I won't say anything else about it.
I understand,
Felicity said, causing the prancing Pegasus to relax.
It's important for a pony to keep her word. I'm glad you did that for her, she sighed. She's still just a foal. When she grows up, she'll understand the economic realities of the situation. Well, Fluttershy, it's been a pleasure meeting you. Excuse me, there are a lot of ponies I could go mingle with. Hopefully, I'll have a chance to see them tomorrow, too.
Fluttershy said goodbye, so watched Valencia walk over to a light green stallion in a tux. She didn't say anything else. What was there to say? Whatever she wanted to call herself, the orange mare didn't seem like she was going to be any help. One question she could answer, though. On her flank, past the hem of her dress, Fluttershy spotted 1.5 orange wedges. Darn you, Fig, you broke the pattern!